Uh,
I'm gonna start
hold on, my Chrome all of a
the
sudden isn't it?
OBS.
Where's my Chrome window? What the hell's it doing over there?
This one should be pretty quick, don't you think? We always say that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last one was really quick. We're live on Facebook, by the way. Last one was really quick. I told Matt that, well, it felt really quick. I downloaded it and listened to it, and it was like
it was still an hour, I
it,
think.
it flew by to me. I thought it was good.
All right, we should be live on Facebook.
Oh, I'm not on Twitch yet, but I can be.
Welcome, Facebook. If you're just joining us, you're getting a behind-the-scenes view of what goes into making the Anything New podcast each week. It's an audio podcast, but we're doing it live with some cameras so you can see how it goes. I think Pax just got out of the shower. I heard him come down the steps.
Matt, that came across on Facebook too when you posted that on Instagram. I love that. I love it.
Yep. You set it up, so good job, sir.
All right. Give me 60 seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I wish my phone would just trust me with spelling a little bit more than it does.
Why? What's it autocorrecting?
I tried to type in bit.ly and instead it changed bit to butt and ly to mi and
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that
tweet, I'm gonna tweet
that
the
that
YouTube.
beer and comic Instagram account was kind of cool.
Yeah. The account I didn't know I needed.
Mm.
Hold on, let me click this and make sure it goes to the. Yes. I'd try to start
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
driving traffic a little bit more to YouTube.
There we go. Get a little focused in there. You guys ready to do this?
Yeah, hang on just a second. Real quick, do you want to talk about Mandalorian first? Since that's always been kind of our lead off.
Sure.
Do that first.
Sure.
Okay, I think Yep. Okay. I think I'm good.
You
All
good?
right. Clear a second for Mr. Craig, and then we'll get in. Welcome back to the Anything New podcast. My name is Pete, and as always, I'm here with Matt
What's up?
and Opie.
Hey guys.
Anything New is the podcast where we talk about anything new we've been using, perusing, or consuming. Guys, we had some consoles that got released last week, PS5 and
gosh.
Xbox Series X.
Huge week for
An
gaming.
amazing week for gaming. We're going to definitely talk about that. But I think first we want to talk a little bit more about Mandalorian Episode 3.
The
What do you guys think?
Trace. Go ahead. What'd you think?
It was. Yeah, what did you think? You always go first.
I'll tell you what I thought. I thought it was good. I thought it was
Good.
dang good.
Mm-hmm.
Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica just popped out of nowhere and like really made my day because I love her. Did you guys watch Battlestar Galactica?
No.
I thought it was amazing.
No, I always
Okay,
wanted
you
to.
should.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of the rebooted series and thought it was fantastic. So I don't know why I never kept going, but I'd love to.
Okay.
I heard.
Well, anyway, the actress that played Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, she makes an appearance as a Mandalorian, and I guess we get to find out that there's actually different like sets.
Yeah. I
I guess is what you would say of Mandalori. And I guess the ones that Mando's from, I guess were kind of like the more like the religious kind
The
of
Zealots, yeah, they're
the zealots.
yeah.
Won't take off their masks. They're kind of like maybe even more like the monks. I don't
Yeah,
know.
monks
Kind of go into hiding, wear their masks all the time. Starbuck just like takes hers off like nobody's business, like sits down and starts eating, and Mando like doesn't know what to think there for a minute.
See, I thought that was interesting because when they all took their helmets off, and I was like, oh no, don't tell me more non-Mandalorians. Thinking back to Koth, what's his name? I keep thinking Bob Vance, but Koth, Timmy Oliphant's character from the first one. He wasn't a true Mandalore, but he had the
Right.
armor. And then I was thinking, oh no, don't tell me there's more people
Right.
who aren't true Mandalores. But then it's like, no, your clan of Mandalore is the old way, where that's
Right.
old school, not taking helmet off.
Yeah.
We're past that. We're a little bit more progressive.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
like to take our hats off, our helmets off.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. The thing, I really wish that I had watched the Clone Wars animated series and Rebels, because I think there's bits of that. I think if you have watched that, you would have gotten a little bit more out of this, from what I understand. I haven't watched either, so I may be completely wrong. But their mention of Ahsoka, I don't even know her last name, but I know
Ahsoka
she's
Tano?
a big. Yeah, I know she's a big character from the Clone Wars, I think.
Mhm.
And this is where, whenever I listen to podcasts and stuff about like Marvel movies, but it's only the people who have watched the movies and not read the comics, I'm always screaming, no, that's not right. No, how can you not know this? How can you not know that? Now I'm on the other side, not knowing all this
Yeah.
extra stuff, and all the
Mhm.
true Star Wars fans are screaming at me, but I just don't know. I've never watched those. So
Yeah, being a true Star Wars fan, that's something that I would. This is where Disney dips into that expanded universe. And before, if you were a true Star Wars fan, air quotes, if you knew the A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi front to back, you knew that world. Then that's all the universe that you needed for a while. And then of course, Lucas expanded with the other 6 movies. But now we've just expanded even more with the animated series and what Disney's put out there. But speaking of the Clone Wars and like Rebels, I always know that there are some Mandalorian armor figures in there, but I never knew if they're just straight bounty hunters or if they're Mandalorians. Because a lot of times, the bounty hunters just, Boba Fett's armor is associated with bounty hunting, and that's kind of a trade that I guess Mandalorians are known for because of their skills in battle. I liked the fish planet, the planet that they were going to, and just seeing how the races were from, like the squid face guys. I don't even know if they have a true race. It's usually just the character that was one of the figures. He was just called Squid Face right on the packaging.
what is it? Aren't they Mon Calamari, right?
No, Mon Calamari are
That's the trap guys.
That's the guys
Right.
that you're talking. But you're talking about the guys that have the squid face, the ones that that tried to kill Mando.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
I saw a cool little Easter egg. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but they get to that like fishing little port, and there was like it was like an ad or something that they had like repurposed to be like a loading
Yeah.
thing for like ships. Like, like they scavenged it and just like, made use of it. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that part where they were in the beginning where they were trying to land, and they were,
Oh,
coming down, and just hovering over the landing pad. Right when they stopped, the boy was actually watching the first little bit with me, and he said, "Well, hey, at least they landed safely." And then the engine cuts out, and it tips over into
That
the
was
water.
good.
That was crazy.
That was
Mhm.
good.
I love
And
that.
I
But
thought for sure when he left Baby Yoda there, like with the frog people,
Yeah.
I thought for sure, I was like, man, this could go very bad, and he could just
Yeah.
decide he's going to eat all the eggs, and then,
Yeah.
right.
then
I
he
thought he
comes
Does she
was-
know
back
that
and
he ate the eggs from?
I
Does she
don't
realize
know.
that there's
I don't
less
think so.
eggs? There's fewer eggs than there were before.
I think that
I don't think so.
I thought he was going to eat the tadpole, the
I
baby.
did too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
And I was wrong from last week when I said we'll never see the Frog Lady again. They were in this one. I still don't think they're going to figure in as heavily as what you guys said last week,
Yeah.
but we at least saw him again, so that's good. I like that Mando is starting to have built-in babysitters every planet that he goes to, because he
Yeah.
can't take
Yeah.
the child everywhere.
He's got the mechanic
he's
on
a-
Tatooine, and he's got
There
the
you go.
the frog people.
He's a
and
single dad, It
Yeah.
takes a village to
it
raise
does
a child.
it does take a
Right,
village to
it
raise a
takes a
child.
village.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so they name dropped Ahsoka.
Tana.
Yeah,
Ahsoka-
and, yeah, thanks. And I guess she's Anakin's Padawan, which apparently I should know that. I don't. I was talking to our buddy Travis about it. He was sort of filling me in on some of the
Whoa.
larger details.
So you've
should
not
have
seen
known.
any Clone Wars at all?
No
The-
Clone
the-
Wars, no Rebels, no nothing.
Not
no
even, like,
animated game.
Like the Clone Wars animated movie came out before the series kicked off, and we saw that in the
Right.
theaters, and you kind of got a gist that Ahsoka Tano's, Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah, I've never seen. So I know I'm speaking a little bit ignorantly. I just flat out haven't seen any
Yeah.
of the animated stuff
Yeah.
where a lot of this stuff comes from.
Yep.
So,
It's
but
good.
the whole thing with the dark saber, I don't know the significance behind. I know there is significance. I don't really know the story behind it because I've missed all the animated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really probably should watch that, and I have been told by several people on numerous occasions that I should watch all of it, but I just haven't. But yeah, I thought it was great. It was cool seeing old school stormtroopers again.
Yep.
We haven't seen stormtroopers in a long time.
They had the crack on
guy-
them. They had to get them.
What?
Had to have a shot. They shot. They said they can't hit anything. So that was kind
Right.
of a shot at the stormtroopers.
Right. What they made a big deal. The other three Mandalorians made a big deal about Mando coming on that mission with them to help them. He didn't do anything
Yeah.
except right at the end when he, took all the brunt of the laser blasts and hit him with a grenade. Other than that, he didn't do anything.
Right, that's
so,
true.
Like, why did you
Yeah.
need him in the first
He was
place?
flexing. He was flexing all that new armor he got.
All that
He's like,
Beskar, yeah.
you guys might, be a cooler group of Mandalorians, but check this out.
Mhm.
I thought that was
did-
kinda funny.
I love seeing, and I know we saw some last season too, but I thought it was awesome seeing female Mandalorians. And I know they're not that rare in all the new stuff now, but in live action, like I've just never seen them, so I thought that was really cool. I'd love
Mhm.
to. I just give me I love this series about the Mandalorian, but give me another one about just all the other Mandalorians. Like give me a Game of Thrones type thing, but about the Mandalorians and the different factions and all that stuff.
Ooh.
Mm.
But yeah, I thought this one was definitely the best of the season. There's only been 3.
Yeah, I would say so too.
And I would say I thought it was probably one of the best of both seasons so far.
That captain that was on the ship,
Yeah.
I recognized him too, and I looked him up, and he's also from Deadwood. So Timothy Oliphant was from Deadwood, and this guy is too. So it's interesting that they had 2 former Deadwood actors on there. But
One thing I'll
It's
say
good.
too, we saw it in the first episode, and we saw it in this one. I love the image of Mandalorians flying with their jetpacks.
Yeah.
mhm.
Because in Return of the Jedi, we only ever saw Boba Fett sort of use it
Yeah.
to just sort of super hop from one ship to another. But like
Yeah.
them actually flying through the air and the way, and plus the way they make it look like they don't. It's not like super heroic like Superman where they're flying. They just kind of make it
Right.
like far off. They're just sort of small and just.
Yeah,
I just love I love the imagery of them just flying through with the jetpacks. I think that's
And
cool. But yeah,
they always pick great sound effects for things, and that jetpack sound effect of it, like, you know, it just sounds so cool. They always do such a good job with those little sound effects.
yeah, but yeah, what I think is the most interesting is just learning about like you said before, Pete, the different factions of the Mandalorians and how Mando may come from a more old school way, and maybe there's some that don't practice that old school way anymore, and just I want to know more about that. So I hope we get more of that in this season, because I want to know more about not only Mando himself, but I know we learned his real name at the end of last season. I don't remember it, but I want to learn more about him, but also just more about all these different factions. I think that's the most interesting thing that we got from this.
Yeah. I think they're going to slowly just release a little bit more of all this stuff that we never knew, in the Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, and I can't remember off the top of my head. It's so it's the girl who directed it. The lady directed it is
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes, I love her. She's so good. She was
Yeah.
in The Village.
Yeah, she's in the two new Jurassic Park movies, and with Chris Pratt, and
I saw the name pop up, and I'm like, oh, no way. So I thought that was really cool that she
Ron
directed
Howard's
it.
daughter, so she's I think she's directed some other things before too. Her dad's a big time director, and I'm pretty sure I don't know if she's directed other episodes of this, but I'm pretty sure she's directed other things. I don't know if she's done full on movies, but yeah, she's done directing work.
M. Night Shyamalan kind of went off the deep end there, and some of his movies get a bad rap, but I love The Village. Like, I just love that movie.
Yep.
Did you guys ever see that when it came out? Like,
yes.
A long time ago?
Yes.
You've never seen it, Matt?
No.
A huge surprise.
Do you know anything about what it's about?
Not really.
Oh my gosh. We should watch that sometime. I would love to
watch it with
be on
someone that's
stream
never.
with you. Yes.
Yeah, when you've never seen it.
Yeah, don't like look it up or like watch anything about it. Oh my gosh.
It's got Joaquin Phoenix in it.
Word.
It's great.
And I guess she hasn't directed too much stuff. A documentary, a couple shorts, a TV movie, but she did direct an episode last season. I think that's what I'm thinking of. She directed episode 4 of last season.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Huh. I love the little still artwork imagery at the end of each episode too. Like I just kind of stick around and like, I do too. They're so good. They're always kind of just a comic recap of what happened in the episode. It's always so good. Like, I don't know who draws them.
Storyboards, I guess. Give me an art book of all their storyboards.
I'm sure that they're going to do that because all that stuff is just so well done. Do you ever watch that, Opie?
What?
At the end of each episode, the little storyboard.
Yes, on the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I like what I just look at the artwork. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's all there is.
Yeah.
To look at.
Well, awesome. Yeah, I'm sure we'll keep hitting back on it, but I think we need to dedicate a little bit of time towards these new video game consoles. I don't know if you guys know, but there's this thing called a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X.
What?
And a Series S.
Right.
And a PS5 discless. So there were actually 4 consoles that were released this week, right?
That's true.
Very hard to get. They're still hard to get. Going for a premium. I was able to.
It disgusts me. Anybody who buys anything for the sole purpose of flipping it on eBay to make a profit, I hate that. I think that is disgusting. I can't stand it. There goes our eBay scalping demographic.
Anybody who sells stuff on eBay to make a profit is disgusting. Facebook Marketplace, on the other hand. What you said eBay?
Well, no. What I meant was I don't mean like selling stuff out of your garage. I mean like scalping hard to get stuff just so that you can turn it around and sell it for twice as much. I hate it.
Yeah, but the people who buy the scalp stuff, shouldn't they have this? Don't they have the same opportunity as the people who bought it to get it?
Right, but it's the intention. It's like I'm gonna wait in line to buy this.
Well,
just like you are, but I'm not doing it because I love video games. I'm doing it because I want to make them.
Not to get on a tangent, but I understand that point of view, but I don't hate on that as much as inside jobs, like managers at stores or employees at
Oh
stores
yeah.
pulling stuff. Because
That's the worst of the worst.
I've ran into that
Yeah.
before just recently with action figures, and I've told you guys this story. I work with a guy who has a part-time job at Walmart in the electronics department, and when these Masters of the Universe Origin figures came out the first way when they first hit, a manager gobbled up all of them and took them to a comic book store and sold them for profit to be sold there, so no one could get them at the Walmart. And because she also was apparently grabbing those turtle figures off the pallet and buying them.
NECA?
Yeah, the NECA stuff when it first came out too. So that
not
stuff
cool.
really nicks my crawl or whatever. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Matt. I mean, if you know, it's tough to say.
So, Matt, do you want to? So I was able to get an Xbox Series X. Matt was able to get a PlayStation 5.
Somehow. Thanks to our buddy J-Dub. Our buddy J-Dub, faithful listener of the show, longtime friend of the show. I was streaming one night, and he just happened to see, I think The Verge tweeted the Amazon link to the PS5.
Yeah.
And it was a weird link, too. It didn't take you to, like, the product page, the nice, pretty it was like you click it, and it was this weird screen where it just said add to cart. And it made you put both in your cart, and then you had to take one out. And it was weird, but it worked. And he just happened to, like, it was just the stars aligned where he saw it, put it in my Twitch chat. I did it on stream and was able to get one. It, like, whenever they first hit Amazon, and they were gone in minutes, whenever that was, like, was it like August or September or something? But
Yeah.
it was weird. I tried to get an Xbox and failed at that, so I still don't have one of those.
So before we get into the gameplay and stuff, what are some of the internet like things? I've seen the smoke. I've seen the vape smoke, and I've seen some people's PlayStations crashing. Have you heard anything on that?
No, I haven't heard anything about PlayStation's crashing.
I think that's just somebody's gonna. They're just taking advantage of all the hype and want to get their Twitter handle out there, and will kind of make something happen. Just, I mean, of course, it's a electronic component. Anything can go wrong. You know what I mean? If you're selling 4 million or whatever, or 2 million, you know, you're gonna have a few that are gonna fail or boot up wrong. I mean, that's just with anything. So
if you ever go back and watch the history of the Xbox 360 and how rushed that console was with the Red Ring of Death, there's probably never been a more crazy failure of a console launch than that one. I couldn't believe it, and I think I had two that ringed on me. But,
I did too.
Yeah, I had my first 360 messed up. I had to take it to GameStop the next day. They tested it. They said, "Yep, you're right. It doesn't work." They just handed me a new one.
Yeah, I'm sure that Microsoft was forking out tons of those bad boys. There was everybody I knew had one that was failing.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's the fake. You know, the Xbox was smoking, and that was fake. And there was one about the Xbox being able to float a ping pong ball, and that was fake. You know, it's like, why can't
I didn't see that one.
It's like, can we just not have our games?
Can we just play the game?
Our consoles to play. I mean, why do we have to do all this extra stuff? I mean, I don't know. That's why we can't have nice things. So, Pete, what do you think about the Xbox? Have you played much on it?
I haven't played a ton. I got it all set up. I mean, my honest opinion, and I'm straight down the middle when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation. Like, I love my PS4 Pro. You know, excellent system. I've loved every console.
Yep.
So I'm not like a fanboy one way or the other. Like, I'll tell you exactly how it is. And I mean, pretty much what everybody says is that the PlayStation is superior for the most part because of the exclusive titles like God of War, stuff like that. And I totally agree.
Yeah.
Like, their console exclusive games are always home runs. No doubt about it.
Yep.
The Xbox Series X that I just got was super easy to install. Everything, it updated QR code with my phone, and it like brought everything over. Like, if you had the Xbox app where you were like logged in from before, that had all your, you know, pretty much everything that you have on your Xbox account, screen pops up. You know, do you want to manually set this Xbox up, or do you want to automatically set it up? I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And it just had a QR code like up on my screen. It said, bring up your camera on your phone and take a picture of it and
Wow.
tap the link.
Wow.
I did that. It like literally loaded up my Xbox app and said, congratulations on your new Series X. Tap this button to complete setup. I did that. And then on my screen, on my TV, it was like my Game Pass was up, all my settings, all my trophies, all my friends lists,
Nice.
which was really cool.
See,
The downside to that
uh-oh.
is it felt like I just turned on my Xbox One again.
Yes.
Does
it even look like it?
You get a new console, and like part of the fun is like, oh my gosh, look at that! Oh my gosh, look at that! This is totally different. This is way cooler than it was before.
Yeah.
But they went with more the approach of, hey, we got something that's kind of everybody's playing nice with everything. It's we're backwards compatibility for all this stuff. We don't want to mess anything up, so we're just going to kind of keep it the same. So that's kind of the way it felt. It was kind of like it's kind of like I upgraded the video card on my computer,
Right.
and turned Windows 10 back on, and I'm like, okay, this is familiar. These are all my same icons. All my tiles are in the same place, but it's just faster, and
Right.
it is super fast. Like when you turn it on,
Boom.
you guys know when you upgrade your PC and you went to like the new SSDs, you know what I mean? Like it was like, whoa, now we're playing with some serious power. That's the way this felt. Like it was super snappy. The quick resume, like Peyton had downloaded, we got NBA Live or NBA 2K21 and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So we installed both of those off the discs. And he was playing NBA, and then I switched over to Valhalla. And that quick resume feature, I'm not sure if does PlayStation 5 have the same thing, where you can switch back and forth between games that are running simultaneously.
There is a switcher. Like if you hit the home button, it brings up a little menu at the bottom, and there's an app or there's a tab for it says switcher. But I've only played one game on it, so I don't know.
But anyway, this you can literally. It's almost just like as if you like Alt Tab and on your computer. And like the other game is just like it brings it right back up. You don't have any sort of like load time. It's just like you hit pause. So that's really cool. Haven't played a ton of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Looks beautiful. Peyton is really happy with the new NBA. He says it's he did the thing where he bought like the deluxe edition of the last one.
Yeah.
It came with the free version of this one, of the new one.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. So instead of like $60 when he bought it, it was like $79, but it came with the new one.
Yeah.
Also,
because you knew you were getting it. You knew where you getting it.
Yeah. So he's loving it. He says the graphics look better. It's not a huge jump graphically. It will be, I think, in 2 years or a year when the games that they're building now or have been building the last year or so.
I do kind of wonder. I do kind of wonder if maybe we're just gonna plateau at graphical fidelity one day, and then it's gonna be less about how much better do the graphics look and more about things like ray tracing, things like fast load times. That kind of stuff. Things like streaming games versus having to install them. That kind of stuff. I think that's where gaming is going. Not just flat out. Oh yeah, there's more polygons and the graphics look better. I think we've almost. I mean, they're always going to be better, but I think if you think about Xbox to the 360, the Xbox One, the graphic fidelity was on a steep curve, and now I think it's sort of leveling off.
Yeah.
And it's more about these other bells and whistles that are just more not sharp differences, but just more like improvement, just more like quality of life improvements or fidelity improvements, but not major upgrades.
Yeah.
And if you look at like the games that have really like culturally grabbed the last few years, a lot of times they aren't like the games that are pushing graphics to the next level.
Fortnite.
Like Fortnite, the part of what made that so popular is it could run on a phone or a low-end PC or any of the consoles.
Same way with Among Us.
The same. Among Us, yeah. like that game looks like it was made 20 years ago, and
Right.
it's everybody loves it.
Yep.
Right.
You know, so it's playability. Games are they? You're right, Matt. They're going to kind of hit a plateau, and it's going to be more about the features and stuff.
So going on what James was saying on the setup and how easy that was, I remember when we first got the Xbox One, you had to make new accounts to Xbox One accounts. You couldn't bring your 360 account over. You guys
Right.
remember that?
You sure?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, you had to.
Yep.
So it was kind of difficult. Let me ask you guys this: like, I've never been in the new on the PlayStation. I don't have a 4. I've still got a 3. Did your PlayStation accounts just move? Have they moved on up from every console? Since PlayStation's been from 3 to 4, and then
Yeah.
you
So
never had
the
to create-
PlayStation has the same QR code thing that Pete was talking about on the Xbox. I just signed in with mine, username and password. I didn't do the QR thing, but yeah, I mean it knows it. Obviously, it didn't bring my save games over like I think the Xbox does, but it knows what games I've purchased from the PlayStation Network.
Mhm.
So all those were in my library. Of course, I have to download them again if I want to play them. But yeah, it knows me. It brought over my profile picture. I think it brought over my friends, and yeah, I mean it's pretty
Mhm.
simple.
Yeah, they did a good job with the migration, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my short review on the Xbox Series X. It's really nice, and it's a nice upgrade, and the games that come out in the next few years I think will be incredible. Do you have to have it on day one? I mean, there's not a ton of games on either system
You
to really
don't have to-
justify it.
Well, especially the Series X, you don't have to have it on day one because Microsoft is, in my opinion, so forward thinking with the whole smart delivery thing.
Mhm.
So like when I'm done playing Spider-Man, I'm going to get Assassin's Creed Valhalla for the Xbox One, Xbox One, and I'm going to go ahead and start playing it. And then whenever I am able to get a Series X, I'm just going to start playing it over there and just continue
Yep.
my game. Whereas, you can do some of that stuff with PlayStation, but I just don't think it's as fluid with
Mhm.
PlayStation as it was with Xbox. So no, you absolutely don't need a Series X on day one,
Right.
unless you really want one. But there's no reason to run out and get one. Now, like if I want to play, well, shoot, I was gonna say you do kind of need a PS5 on day one if you really want to play Spider-Man Miles Morales, but not really because you could just get the PS4 version.
Yeah,
So I
they
don't
have-
know.
yeah.
The lines between last version and last generation, this one
Yeah.
are really blurred, but PlayStation makes it harder. Like with I don't know if I start Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS4, can I carry my save over to the 5? Or it's like real unclear. Whereas Microsoft just said, yeah, as long as a game supports smart delivery, yeah, you're good. And all the Ubisoft games do, and most games I think do, most newer ones do. So I mean, Microsoft just made it super easy, where PlayStation made it a little bit like you have to like research and figure out what you're doing.
Yeah. Next week I'll come back with talking a little bit more about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, since I didn't really, get in and kick the tires too much, so but it looks beautiful, and I think it's this is my first Assassin's Creed game, and I wasn't going to get it in the beginning, but then I thought, I need something to kind of play on this thing, and I'd read that it's a lot less stealthy than previous versions, and I'm less stealthy of a man and as a gamer. So
See, I love the stealth element, so I hope that you can stay as stealthy as I hope you can stay as stealthy as you want, because that's my favorite part of those games.
there was a meme that I saw a while back that just like, it was so me. It was like how I start every stealth mission, and it showed like, Solid Snake,
Yeah.
like, crawling through the
Yep.
woods, and then it's like how I end every stealth mission, and it had like Rambo with like 2 M60s, like that's me. Like
Me
I always
too, yeah.
start out with the sole intention, like,
Yep.
all right, I'm going to do this stealth mission. Well, then I trigger some alarm, and then I'm just like, grenades and bazookas and
Yeah.
so I don't know. Well, all right, give us first impression PS5. So you got it in
Yeah.
your hands, you got it set up.
Yep, I've got it. It's right over there. My very first impression is it is the biggest, literally like the biggest console that I've ever seen. It's bigger than the first gen PS3, the big fat PS3.
Oh wow.
It's bigger than that. It's heavier than that. And I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I hate the design. I hate it.
Mm. It didn't look great.
the white plastic stuff and
Yeah.
the white
Yeah.
the white fin that just, so I have mine sitting horizontally because it just barely fits into the slot in my TV stand over here where my PS4 was. And the only reason, I mean, like, the only reason it just barely fits is because of the stupid white fin that goes up on top that's there for no reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. So, like, everything, like the guts of, like, the black part where all the internal stuff is sitting, like, that's in there, that slides in just fine. But then you've got this white plastic top that is there for no reason whatsoever, and the part where the fin goes up, I can't even get my finger in between the white piece and the top. Like, it just barely fit. So it's big and it's heavy. The physical design is stupid. It doesn't need to be that way. It's dumb. However, the system itself is nice. The interface is different, unlike the Xbox. I was in, like, you're talking about the Xbox UI. It felt like just turning on a new Xbox. I'm a little bit disappointed that the Xbox doesn't have a flashier UI, although they did sort of update the Xbox UI a few months prior to the Series X coming out. So it's almost like they did update the UI.
Yeah.
But they just did it before the console came out, you know? So
they did.
improved the store and everything like that. So
one thing we didn't mention when we mentioned the console or the game exclusivity that PS or PlayStation is going to have is there's Game Pass on Xbox is just going to be huge for up and coming, right, guys? I mean, there's like
I saw an article the other day that said 70% of people who own an Xbox One or a Series are also Game Pass subscribers.
Wow.
So for me, that's a huge advantage that Xbox has over PlayStation, is the Game Pass thing. Now, PlayStation has PlayStation Now. It's not as good, I don't think. Even though it has more games, but I don't like it as much. I used to subscribe to it. Game Pass is a game changer, man. I mean, there's no reason not to have it if you play games. There's just so much stuff.
I concur with that statement.
Yeah, it's
No,
great, but
it's really nice. And I was showing, and I just love that they just don't give you a little tile of the games. Like, it shows you like the box art of the original Xbox game or the 360 game. With the box art with like the header of Xbox 360. They had like it was like white. Like the covers of the games. And I was showing Peyton like all the just the classics. Like Dead Space 2. Mm-hmm. They have all these, like that EA. They signed that deal with EA. There's like all those sports games on there, like all the FIFAs OP that you can play on there. There's just a ton of stuff, and it's just really downloads pretty quick. Some of the older games like PAX. My youngest was like, "Oh, there's a Banjo-Kazooie game." I'm like, "Yeah, let's check it out." From the original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look great, but he kind of didn't mind.
I played some. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, so the PS5, the interface is similar but different. It still has the squares that you go across, and but you hit the home button and like another menu comes up from the bottom. The menus largely look the same, but it is a different interface. So I do like the interface. Now, the one bad thing for me is that because I'm down here in my man cave and I stream, I have it hooked to an older 4K TV that I don't think support it. One of the HDMI ports does support HDR, but I don't know if maybe it's not like HDMI 2.1 or something. When I turn on the HDR still doesn't look right on the PlayStation. So I am not using the HDR feature. So the games aren't looking quite as good as they should, but I kind of don't really notice the difference between HDR anyway, even on my PS4 Pro upstairs.
Here's my hot take. HDR is kind of an overblown feature that I think electronic TV companies added when they didn't have anything else to add, Yeah. It's okay, but there's a lot it just depends on the source. Like, I'll have HDR on like my brand new 4K projector that has HDR10, HDMI 2.1, blah, 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 blah. And like sometimes I'm watching something like on Netflix You know, and my receiver, I bought an awesome receiver. It shows anytime there's HDR 10, regular HDR, it shows it. And sometimes I'm like, this is like total junk, and I'll turn HDR off. I'm like, that's way better. But and then
The
another movie
colors
you
are
watch,
washed out. Yeah,
yeah,
if you
it just depends on what you're watching too. Like there's
yeah.
that one movie with oh shoot,
Yeah.
Gerard Butler that was on Netflix that just came out a while back. Do you guys remember that?
Geostorm.
No, it was like the bank robber movie. Do you remember
Oh
that?
yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
one?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't remember the name.
It
But
was
it's a good movie.
great.
Yeah,
Great movie.
That's a great movie.
But we started watching it, and I'm
Den
like,
of Thieves.
why? Yeah, great
That's
movie.
a good movie.
Diana and I watched it, and I'm like, why does this look like it's shot so crappy? And I'm like, let me just turn HDR off. And we both looked at each other and was like, okay, well, that looks way better. So we just left it off the rest of.
Well, yeah.
But then some movies you'll watch, and it looks great with HDR. It's just how it's shot and how it's
Matt-
supposed to be shown, like with like the super blacks and
Were
it's
you-
just
The
Anyway.
Netflix app on the Xbox on my Xbox One X upstairs. My Xbox One X handles HDR just fine for like games and other apps, but something about the Netflix app on my Xbox One X specifically, it doesn't flip to HDR or something. So my TV has HDR enabled. The Netflix app doesn't do that. So every time I go to Netflix, the bright red Netflix logo looks like a washed out orange.
Mm.
So I can't watch Netflix on my Xbox upstairs because it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And yeah, HDR. So like when I played Final Fantasy VII Remake on my PS4 Pro, the Spider-Man edition, the red one, PS4 Pro, TV upstairs supports HDR10, or even Spider-Man on that. So my TV blacks out for a second while it kicks on the HDR.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I noticed this especially when I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. The splash screen comes up with Cloud looking up at Shinra Tower. TV blacks out for a second, comes back on with HDR enabled or flipped on or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, okay, it doesn't look any different to me.
Right.
It really doesn't, and maybe it's my old eyes or whatever, but it doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. The only time I can tell if it looks different is if it's not done right and the colors are washed out. But
Yeah.
I can't.
Um,
That's
Well, I was going
I'm
to
with you.
Well, I was going to say, Matt, were you discussing a different HDMI cable for HDR with someone the other day? Thought that might have been an issue.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you have a high speed HDMI cable to be able to carry all the bandwidth. I don't even.
Is there a specific detailed name for that, or you just can't go to Walmart and look at
think it's
HDMI cable? They all say high speed.
I think it's 2.1, isn't it?
That's the
I'd have to
standard
look.
now for HDR.
Oh, but you
HDMI.
said the PS5 came with one.
Yeah, the PS5 came with a
Yeah.
cable. My problem. So I tried to stream Spider-Man Miles Morales. I have my PS4 hooked to an HDMI splitter. One end goes to the TV, one end goes to my capture card, but that splitter couldn't handle 4K. And I was getting awful feedback and no picture. Actually, just got pickups. I actually just got a new one, so I'm gonna try it out to see. But in order to stream, I just stream straight from the PS5, and which the Xbox and the PS4 can do that as well. And I tell you what, I'm a nobody streamer with
That's not
almost
true.
with
Tens of
almost no
followers.
followers, and nobody ever watches me play except for our buddy J Dub. And
I watch
I
you
don't-
play.
and so what I'm getting at is I almost just kind of prefer streaming from the PS5 or the console because you just hit a button and you're just streaming.
Yep.
And it does, and you can set your resolution, and you don't get all the fancy overlays and stuff. And of course, I didn't have my notifications or anything like that, but I almost didn't care because it was just so easy. I just hit a button and I was streaming, and so anyway, regardless of all that though, I do like it. It does look good. So my one game I've been playing is Spider-Man Miles Morales. It looks fantastic. It doesn't look as good, I guess, as if I hooked this thing up to my better TV upstairs. But you know what? It kind of like what I've said with PC gaming before is I almost just don't care. I just want to play the game. It looks good. I don't care. And we've talked about it too, sort of the unsung, people get so hung up on graphics cards and HDR and all this stuff. you got to have a good monitor or a good TV to go with it too.
Mhm.
And so I don't really know if I'm seeing like the full like 60 FPS that I'm supposed to be seeing, because this TV is it is 4K 60 hertz. I just don't know, and I just don't care. I just love playing the game, and it does look better than Spider-Man on PS4 did 2 years ago. Is it a humongous leap in graphical technology? No. It doesn't look that much better, but it does look better, sure. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I need to play more games on it. I think I'm going to only play like the exclusives on this thing. I think I'd rather just go the Xbox route. I'm just a fan of everything that Xbox is doing in regards to gaming with Game Pass.
Yeah.
And smart delivery. It doesn't look that much better, but it does look better. One X to the Series X, or the One S to the Series, or whatever, whichever one.
Yep.
I'm just a fan with how they are catering just to gamers. They just want people to play video games. That's all they care about. And now they want you to do Xbox route. But they make it rewarding to stay in their ecosystem, and they make it rewarding to use their hardware. So I just want to support that. So if it's not a PlayStation exclusive, I'm probably going to go the Xbox route with it. But with that said, I do want to play the new Ratchet and Clank and Horizon Forbidden West and all that stuff. So I'll be playing that. And I'm only a few hours into Spider-Man Miles Morales, but I'm having a blast with it. It does look fantastic. It's every single bit as good as the first Spider-Man game. It is shorter, I know that much, but
Yeah.
So as far as the game itself, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Spider-Man PS4 is my favorite game of all time, because it makes me feel like I actually am Spider-Man, and this one is every bit as good. So it's my game of the year, just because it's so awesome. The story's great, the combat's great, the traversal is great, the powers are great. I've been having a blast with it. So I'm probably, to give a better thoughts on everything, I probably should have played a couple other games, but I've just got the one.
The real question is which console is that cat game coming on? The Stray.
That was PlayStation.
All right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm buying.
I don't know if it's an exclusive though, but we saw it during the PlayStation State of Play, one of the State of Plays. So yeah, but I like the PS5 for how it operates. I hate the way it looks. It is awful. It is the dumbest form factor for any electronic device I've ever owned. I hate it, but it plays Spider-Man Miles Morales, so I'm pretty happy.
So let me ask you this: the controller, DualSense controller.
Ooh.
A lot of hubbub about it. When I first saw it, I didn't think it looked great, but like now that I'm kind of watching some review videos, early first impressions, people seem like they all say like once you put it in your hands, it's a different story, and it really feels good, and kind of like just like the natural. Because if you go each evolution of the PlayStation controller, they've gotten better.
Yeah.
And so, what's your opinion on the DualSense?
I'll say this before I even turned it on, right? Before I could tell the vibration, all that stuff. The minute I put that controller in my hand, I said, I like this better than the PlayStation 4 controller.
Yeah.
It is better. It is better than the PlayStation 4 controller.
It looks like it's a thicker controller than the
it's a little meatier. Like, I feel like I have more to hold on to.
Yeah.
And we're going to be adults here and not make jokes, right? So I feel like I've got more to hold on to in my hand. It feels, the handles that you put your hand around feel a little bit thicker, feel a little bit longer. The direction, the D-pad is better. The triggers do feel different. They feel like they squeeze in more than just like click, 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 click the PS4 controller. These actually squeeze in rather than just tap, tap, tap. So the triggers were a little bit not better, or not worse, but it did feel weird for a minute. But just holding it, I do like it better. It is better, I think. The vibration is more sensitive. There was a scene in Spider-Man Miles Morales where his cell phone in his back pocket vibrates, like he got a text, and my controller vibrated.
What?
But not like a lot of vibration, just a little bit, and that felt really cool. So yeah, I like it. It's a good controller. It's good. It's a good one.
I like that they kind of went a little bit more subtle with the light this time. Like the light on the PS4 controller. Like there were some games, like Red Dead Redemption, it would shine like a red light, like whenever got killed or stuff like that,
Yeah.
and the big red screen come up. But it was kind of game
light was
developers
stupid.
didn't do a lot with it.
No, yeah.
Now
And
it's
it just
kind of like
caused
more of an
battery drain.
accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How is the battery life on the new one?
Well, so I don't think it had a full charge when I got it out of the box. So keep that in the back of your head when I say it didn't seem like it was a lot better. Like after just after maybe a few hours of playing Miles Morales, it said my battery was at 1 bar. And yesterday when I was playing, so I got it Thursday and I played a couple hours Thursday, a couple hours Friday, and a couple hours yesterday. And after during my play yesterday, it already said my battery was low. But I don't know if it was a full charge to begin with, so I don't really want to say. Now, here's something too about the controller is the way I always kept my PS4 controller charged was every time I would finish playing, I would plug it in with a USB cable to the front of my PlayStation 4, put the PlayStation 4 in rest mode, the little orange light would come on my controller, and supposedly the PS5 does the same thing. Twice, I have done the same thing, put the PS5 in rest mode, and it has not charged my controller even though it says it does. So I actually have my controller upstairs just plugged in with a USB-C cable plugged into using my Nintendo Switch charger. I have it plugged into my Nintendo Switch charger because two times when I put my PS5 in rest mode, it has not charged my controller like it's supposed to.
Oh.
So I don't know what's up with that, but that is not cool.
Well, certainly props for both Xbox and PlayStation for going with the Type-C input for that. Because that micro USB was the worst.
Yeah, so Xbox does that as well, the USB-C. I like USB-C. I'm a fan of that.
Oh, yeah,
I don't have a lot of USB-C plugs, though, yet, so I got to get some more, but...
I had some Android phones before, so I got a bunch of them. Yeah, you can get them on Amazon super cheap. I was going to say something. What about, like, the trigger on the DualSense? Like, one of the new features is it has, like, almost like a tension or like a feedback. Like, if you like, one of the descriptions that I read was, like, in Call of Duty, like, one of the sniper triggers would be, like, super easy to pull, but then, like, if you're shooting like a shotgun, like, it would be like almost like a harder pull, like to actually pull the trigger on.
There's like
I read
like different
about
force levels, right? Like feedback kind of. Have you noticed anything with Miles Morales?
No, I did read about that. I haven't noticed that in Miles Morales, but I don't want to say that it's not there. It just could be that that specific game isn't utilizing that feature. So gotcha. I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
Okay. I did think it was really cool and I didn't know this at first because we got, the one controller with the Xbox came with batteries, like AA batteries. So I just used those. And I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if the Xbox One controllers worked with this. And sure enough, they do. Yeah. I didn't even look it up. Like, I just hit the button on the top of our Xbox One controller, and it just connected right to it. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, Microsoft is making it easy just to bridge the gap. You just use whatever you got,
Yep.
Yeah. And it's kind of a more subtle evolution of a controller than what Sony did. Like, it looks similar. Feels maybe a little bit more comfy in the hands. Not really. I mean, because the last one was great too. Like I love the Xbox One controller. So this one feels like it. It's kind of just like a smaller step towards the perfect controller, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, I like it. It's definitely
the controller's already great. There wasn't much they could do to him. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, they put a cool share button on there, which makes it easier to share stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of taking screenshots, putting them on Twitter, whatever. So making that easier to do is really cool. But it was already great. It was already a great controller. You don't change it.
I tell you one thing that I do love that Microsoft did. I'm sure PlayStation did the same. I haven't seen it. They got rid of the power supply brick. Like, it's built into the actual system now.
Oh, that's cool.
So you just have one cord You know, like PlayStation. Well, yeah, PS4. My PS4 Pro, it didn't have one. I just had a.
Yeah.
So
This
the
one just
power
has a
supply is built.
skinny power cord.
Yeah, built into the chassis. You know, the power supply. So you just got one cord, single cord. You don't have to hide that big brick somewhere under your
Yeah.
desk or, in your entertainment center. So
Yeah.
props to them for that. That was about time they got.
And
rid
the
of that.
Xbox One brick was so loud. There was a fan in it,
Oh.
and it was loud.
Was it really?
Yes.
Oh,
Was
wow.
there a fan?
Yeah, there's a fan in the power supply.
What?
And I would always
didn't know
everything
that.
would be off in my room, and I would hear something I could never figure out, and it was the power supply fan running on that power supply with
What?
the Xbox
I had
One.
no idea that
Yeah.
my Xbox One had a.
Yeah, take a
fan in
look.
the
There's a little fan in the end.
I
of
just
it.
know it always. Ours was like so loosey goosey, like the actual connection
Yeah.
between the brick and the cord, like that it would just kind of like come unplugged every once in a while.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I don't know. So, any other thoughts before you want to move on from the systems? I think we pretty much covered them
I
pretty
just-
well there.
I just want to reiterate again that Spider-Man Miles Morales is a fantastic game. I've been loving every second. Your mileage may vary, but maybe I'm a little biased because I love Spider-Man, but I love the game. It's awesome. It's fantastic. Every bit as good as the original.
So it's supposed to. So how far do you think you're through? Because it's what is it, like a 10 to 15 hour game? Or something?
Yeah, they said if you just go full tilt story only, it's like 8 hours long. If you do all the extra stuff like I'm gonna do, going around the city, doing all the challenges, you can do it like in 18 hours. It says I'm only done like with 10% of the story, but I get side. It's quote unquote open world, with icons on a map, so I get sidetracked with all the side missions and crimes and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know. However long it lasts is fine with me, and it's
Sure.
not. I got the ultimate edition, the $70 version, because it came with the digital version of the PS5 remaster of the original
Ooh,
Spider-Man
nice.
game. So when I had to redeem a code for that, it started downloading. So I now have Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man remastered for the PS5 as well as Miles Morales. But if you just get a regular version of the Miles Morales game, it's only $40 because it's not a full-blown game. It's like Uncharted Lost Legacy was, where it's more than DLC, it's less than a full-blown game. So they do price it right. They do price it for what it is. But I just chose to get the Spider-Man remaster with it. So
And I don't think there's anything wrong with games of that length. Like that's
if it's priced right,
sure.
if they price it for what it is, absolutely give me a 10-hour game for $40. Okay, that's fine.
Great story.
Yeah,
Like Hellblade was an amazing game, and it was about the same. It was probably like 10, 15 hours. And you kind of know that going into it because not every game, you don't have to play. Every game doesn't have to be a 300-hour Breath of the Wild game.
Right.
Like, you don't have to have that. Like you can. We can. Nobody's gonna. Well, somebody might play Miles Morales for 300 hours, and it might be you. But you know what I mean. Like
I'm a new game plus all that stuff.
100%er.
But
Yep.
it's okay for games to be that short. I
think so.
no problem
Yeah.
with that. So cool. Well, you guys want to move on? I guess all we have left is Matt's pickups this week. My
Matt's
pickup we just talked
pickups.
about was the Xbox.
Yeah, well, and mine won't even take long. Yeah, so this I knew this episode was going to be weird because one of my pickups we talked about for a long time, the PS5 and all that. So yeah, PS5 and Spider-Man Miles Morales was one of my biggest pickup for the week. Another pickup that I don't have that I won't talk about, but I actually made a YouTube video. I actually went to the comic book store last Wednesday and bought a stack of comics, which I haven't done in forever. So that was fun. I picked up some comics. One thing that I picked up, and I got a bunch of new binders for when I went through all my comic book cards, and I redid all my cards, so I've got them in 4 binders. But one of my pickups, I got the Series 1 set of Marvel trading cards from 1990 that I never had before because I didn't start collecting them, and I didn't start collecting comics until Series 2, so I never had the Series 1 cards. And now I do. I got them on eBay, got them all sleeved in a new binder, so I was pretty happy with that because I never had these.
Did they sell those as packs, like baseball cards?
Yeah, they did. But I didn't start collecting anything until the second series in 1991, so I missed this generation. And then I got omnibuses.
Dang.
I got
We
the
need to be
maximum.
sponsored by Omnibus.
Oh my gosh, I got the Maximum Carnage
Ooh.
omnibus. It finally came in. So it looks pretty cool. I haven't even read any of the comics that lead up to this, but it's here when I'm ready to read it. And then Opie, you might like this one. I got volume 2 of Peter David's Hulk run.
Ooh, that's awesome. I love that.
He had an epic 10-year run on the Hulk, and this collects, I guess, the rest of it.
Wow.
Opie, you got me this one when we dug through the dollars.
Yeah.
You got me that one with his big face on it.
Yeah.
So this is I think the back half of Peter David's run, which is a really cool run. I've read some, not all of
Yeah.
it. Volume 1 is out of print, so hopefully I'll be able to get it at some point. But Green and Gray Hulk. This is the not the direct market cover, but the main cover basically. And
Is that like Green Hulk's cousin or something? Who's Gray Hulk?
well, Gray Hulk is a different personality of Green Hulk.
Yeah.
And in this run, in this issue right here, there was a big thing where all the different like personalities of a Hulk merged into one, and then you just got like big smart Hulk for the rest of the 90s basically, and that's what all these are. So super cool run. I'm excited to crack this open and read it. And I was supposed to have, when this came in, I was supposed to have also gotten the She-Hulk omnibus as well. The morning of, Amazon said your package is out for delivery, and then later Amazon said your package will be delivered. I had to approve a delivery date of like December, so I don't know what happened with that one. But I think it's actually maybe going to come this week. So I should have had 3, but I'll have 2. And that's it. That's all the pickups. HDMI thing. So hopefully you guys can see my face while I stream Spider-Man whenever I get that hooked up.
Yay.
And that was
one thing I wanted to talk about real quick. Hitting back on Spider-Man, I saw like a little tweet come out where on when you were talking about the remastered for the PS5, the other game, the regular Spider-Man. Remember the boat people? Do you remember that whole?
Yeah.
Did you see that they put them? They're in the remastered, and they look exactly the same, but they have like a post-it note on their chest that says like, "Did you miss us?"
Oh no, I didn't see that.
They didn't do anything. They left them exact, and I like that they did that. They could have fixed them. Made them look really nice. For the PS5, but they left them exactly the way that they look.
Oh, that's awesome! I hadn't seen that.
Really, like their flat face. Like just, I thought it was. But yeah, there's like a little like a post-it note, and it looks like one of the developers just like wrote on it like, "Did you miss us?" So I thought that was kind of fun.
That's cool. Whenever I start playing that, I'll have to swing out to the boats and see.
Yeah, and if you guys are listening and you don't know, Spider-Man, beautiful game. It came out on PS4. Everybody's talking about how just incredible it was, a big open world, blah blah blah. But I guess there was some boats out in the harbor, right? That had some crew or some guys just like sailing a boat, and it looked like they were from like 1985 graphics.
Yeah,
like
they were just like
faces.
Well, because they wanted that was from far away. You were never really supposed to swing out to the boats.
Right.
So if you do, they're like these weird. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm glad. That's cool that they didn't. I thought you were going to say, they fixed them to where they're all 3-dimensional and moving and stuff. So it's so cool that they didn't do that, because that's a nice little in joke. They could have fixed it, but why? It's more fun that they didn't.
Right, but now there's going to be people who probably didn't play it originally, and they're going to find those guys and be like, "What? Why do they have a? Why do I miss you? What's going on here? What's the backstory of this?" But okay.
That's cool.
Cool. Opie, you want to hit on our social medias?
Yeah, check us out. We're on the Twitter sphere, the Instagrams, the whatnots and the so-ons and the go-forths and the things.
Wow. So we'll find us on all of those places.
Anything new cast on Twitter, anything new podcast on Instagram, anything new podcast at gmail.com, YouTube, and we have a Discord now. If you want to join the Discord, just let us know. We'll shoot you a link to that. And we have a bit.ly link as well to the YouTube. station, and you can go ahead and get us on the Facebook. Just search Anything New Podcast, and we'll show up there.
Yep. If you hit
Awesome.
up, if you guys know what Linktree is, linktr.ee Linktree/anything new gives you links to everything. The podcast on Spotify, on iTunes, YouTube, Discord, Twitter, Instagram. I think that's it. I need to put Facebook on there.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess we'll catch you guys next week for episode 16.
That's right. See you guys.
Later, everyone.
See you. All right. Craig is gone. Thank you, Facebook, for hanging out with us. That
Thank you,
wraps up episode
YouTubes.
15 of the Anything New podcast, which you can download on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. Are we anywhere?